Now what I have here is the Safariland INCOG X. Now if you're like me, you usually like the custom holsters, like the Tier 1 Defense, some of the T-Rex arms and all that stuff. However, Safariland teamed up with Haley Strategic and actually developed this Safariland INCOG X. Now the INCOG X gives you that whole feel of a custom holster without the whole entire wait time. These things are basically ready to ship. So you do get that custom holster feel with a much faster response time. I'm used to waiting 1 month, 6 weeks, or even 3 months for a custom holster. However, I don't have to do that anymore with this little fella. Now, I've been testing this thing out for the past month and a half or so, and it's been wonderful for me. Even right before SHOT Show, I've been testing it out for a week before then, and during SHOT Show, on that whole entire drive from Arizona to Las Vegas, it took me roughly about 4 hours or so. Had this thing on my hip the whole time, and it was absolutely comfortable. Now, if you actually take a look at it, it does have that nice little felt lining on both sides right there, so it doesn't give you that weird sense of it being way too hard or anything like that, like most Kydex holsters would. Now, with the tuckable clips, you are able to actually tuck your shirt in and really have this thing really nice and flat towards your body. You'll also notice that it does have this claw too, but the claw looks a little weird. It's because it can actually pop out super easily with this little tiny clip on the back, so you can actually adjust those things as you would see fit. There's no screws or anything. If you've actually used the claws like I have, those screws that actually keep the claws in place, they tend to actually walk off over time, and sometimes you don't notice you're gonna lose that little thing. But with the INCOG X, you don't have to worry about that. As usual, you can always adjust the tension with the little tensioner knob. Same thing goes with the little side card. Me personally, I usually don't care for the whole entire side card accessory, but with this one, it is so much more comfortable than I'm actually used to. This one's actually working out really well for me personally, even for me being 5'2" and tiny. Now, if we take a look at the backside, you have a lot of adjustment increments. Raise it up or lower it down if you wanted to. I have mine on the lowest clip setting so that the firearm can actually sit a little higher. It allows me to actually draw it a little bit faster on that waistline. If I have the clips a little higher, that will give a lower profile, making it easier to actually hide. But I personally prefer the firearm holding a little higher so I can actually grab onto it a lot faster and a lot easier. Whatever your personal preference, you do have those things with the INCOG X. Now, typically with holsters, I usually have a hard time sitting down, especially on the whole entire appendix side. However, being able to actually set those clips a little bit lower makes it super easy for me, so I can even lean forward without it actually stabbing into my little fupa. But as you can see, it's nice and comfortable for me. I can even touch my toes and tie my shoes if I wanted to. And with the design, you don't have to worry about it jumping off of the holster at any time. These things will stay nice and locked in while still maintaining a super smooth and easy draw. And as I've stated before, I typically do not like those side-mounted magazine pouches, but with this one, I really hardly notice it at all. So it's actually working super well for me, even being my tiny stature. Nothing to it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I typically don't like flashlights on my EDCs, just mainly because the holsters will actually be super duper fat. But with the INCOG X, I really hardly notice it at all. And if you're one of those weirdos that don't like to wear belts whatsoever, grow up. This one will still work with no belt. I think it's because of the whole entire felt lining. It just creates enough friction between your pants and also your skin or your underwear where it will actually just stay nice and steady with you. Pretty neat system. Absolutely loving it so far. Whatever Haley Strategic and Safariland came up with, they did a wonderful job on the holster design. Going forward, I might actually end up going for the INCOG X for any new firearms purchase that I actually have. Now, things that I don't like about it. What I found with the whole entire felt and using a stiffer belt, it can be extremely difficult to actually make any type of small adjustments with it because it's creating so much friction on the inside of your pants and also the belt loop portion. It can be difficult for you to actually switch over and make micro adjustments left and right. But it is a little bit difficult for me to actually make the micro adjustments and transitions without looking like an absolute creep. Also, the design of the secondary claw and clip, they're made of one solid material right here, so it is a little bit difficult for me to actually do a tuckable on this side of things. Now, more of the positives a little bit. This thing has absolute tremendous retention while still being extremely smooth to actually take out of the holster. Now with the retention, I don't have to worry about it whatsoever. There are almost no gap points where I can actually accidentally shove something in there and then pick on that trigger. So I am perfectly safe and secure there. The side card itself is going to be nice and slim frame and does have that nice felt material also. It is made of that little Kydex material, but it is pretty darn flexible, so you can have a comfortable time conforming towards your body. The Safariland Haley Strategic INCOG X, absolutely wonderful holster. I would definitely recommend it to anyone that likes a nicer style holster without breaking the bank or even having to wait. So that's a big one for me. 100% I would definitely recommend this little fella. If you made it to the end of this video, go ahead and like, share, subscribe down below. Is it worth it to actually have? 100% I would say yes. Follow me on my Instagram and socials if you actually want to. Other than that, like always, thanks for stopping by.